Well, a very good afternoon and welcome to Twerton Park for this Vanarama National League South clash between Bath City and Concord Rangers. I'm Michael Powell, and alongside me on Bath City Radio this afternoon is Andrew Kerslake. Andrew, a very good afternoon to you. The Beach Boys are in town. Wouldn't it be nice if Bath City could pick up 3 points?
I'm tempted to say you're probably California dreaming, but you might not go back that far if we're talking about the Beach Boys and their hits of yesteryear. Yeah, I mean, first of all, let's just have a little look back at that game on Tuesday night. And it's very easy to see that as a defeat in a long line of defeats. But when you think about that game rationally, if you take out the second goal, which was a Ryan Clark mistake, doesn't often make them, he admitted that, but it was clearly a fumble at the post that let the ball in, and then City twice hitting the woodwork. If you take one of their goals away and you add 2 onto City, then suddenly it looks very different. And I know you can say over the 90 minutes, Hampton and Richmond looked the better side, but they probably looked the better side because they were ahead in that game. I think City showed definite signs on Tuesday that they can bounce back. Whether they will or not is another question, because as we know, when you're down in the bottom of the league, it's games like that that go against you. That little bit of luck that you need just doesn't always come off. I hope maybe this afternoon we'll see something different. Concord not that dissimilar from Hampton and Richmond in terms of their league placing. What we know about Concord in the past is that they've always played a very tight game. It's a small pitch that they have up in Essex, tended to play long ball. Now I hear under the new manager, Chris Search, that's changed a little bit and they're playing a far more open style of football. That may well suit Twerton Park, but may also suit City this afternoon.
For Bath City, we think it's going to be a 4-2-3-1. Jack Batten and Cody Cooke recalled to the starting lineup, along with Mo Torre, as we've spoken about there. So it's Ryan Clark in goal. I think it's going to be a back four of Eddie Jones, Jack Batten, Callum Wood and Zach Delaney. A midfield 2 of Joe Rains and Jordan Dyer. And then a 3 of Alex Fletcher, Mo Torre and Elliot Freer behind Cody Cooke. On the bench for Bath City, Omar Holness, Tom Smith, Will Fuller, Lloyd James and Josh Hours. Smith and Hours dropping down to the bench from that starting lineup on Tuesday. No place for Tom Richards in the 16. The Concord Rangers, like I said, 4 changes for them from last Saturday. Miles Roberts comes back in goal after missing their last game, and it's also Jaden Randall out with suspension. Also missing from the squad, James Blanchfield and Aaron Pollock. So in come Jake Peck, Lamar Reynolds and Billy Roast. I think it might be a 3-4-1-2. Back 3 of Ollie Kensdale, Joe Payne and also Billy Roast. Wingbacks Tosin Popu and Wyan Reid. Midfield duo of Ryan Blackman and Jake Peck, with the captain Danny Green playing just behind Temi Babalola and Lamar Reynolds. On the bench for Concord Rangers, Richard Afrani Kessie, Odie Martin, Sam Carter, Ben Search and Franklin Domi. And it will be Concord Rangers kicking down the slope towards the Bath end in this first half. Bath City in their usual black and white stripes, black shorts and white socks, kicking towards the Bristol end as both players take a knee before kick-off. What a good warm round of applause from the Twerton Park crowd. And it is the visitors who get us underway. Ball back to Blackman, who lofts it forward. Wood slightly miscues his header, and Jones is forced to put it out for a Concord Rangers throw-in. His 112th Bath City appearance this afternoon, Ryan Clark. Being joined in the 100 club by Joe Rains, his 100th appearance this afternoon for his hometown club, as Jones whips in a cross, and it's well dealt with. Ryan Roast puts it behind for the first corner of the afternoon. Rains fires it in. It's headed downwards by Wood, packed away by Roberts. Loose ball falls to Dyer, who smashes it into the back of the net. It's 2 goals in a week for Jordan Dyer, and this time it's to put Bath City ahead after just 10 minutes at Twerton Park. Bath City 1, Concord Rangers 0.
Well, I think Dyer will never have an easier goal than that. The ball just tamely coming back out to him. He had all the time in the world to hammer home from close range, and a phrase we haven't heard very often this season. After 9 minutes, City go ahead.
Yeah, it was debatable who got the final touch on Tuesday. It was a right ruckus, a melee in the box. No debate over this one. Bowls it out time, first time to Delaney, who's parents have flown over again from Ireland this afternoon, I believe. And on loan from West Bromwich Albion. Cooke does well up against Roach, then plays it forward for Fletcher. Free on the byline, tries to cross in, it's come off the underside of the bar. It was a misdirected cross from Freer that very nearly ended up in the back of the net.
Might have been misdirected, but it came in with some power, didn't it? Just flicking off the crossbar before going out.
Fletcher looking to get in behind. He's got past Payne and he's completely scuffed his finish. It's comfortable for Roberts.
Just look around the ground. I mean, the number of children here is really good.
And they'll have liked what they've seen so far, because Bar City lead by 1-0 after 20 minutes here at Twerton Park, as Jones has it on the halfway line. Plays it forward down the right-hand side, looking for Fletcher, just about keeping in play. Payne comes across. Fletcher looking to get to the byline and then completely miscues his ball in. Goes behind for a goal kick. Yeah, unfortunately, Billy Roast's afternoon and first start of the season is going to be cut short due to injury. He's going off after 23 minutes and Franklin Domi is coming on in his place.
Yep, a loanee signing from QPR.
Going to take his time before releasing out of his hands, Ryan Clark. He does, he goes long. Cooke does well to win the flick on, finds Fletcher. 25 yards out, back to goal. Plays it straight to range on the edge of the box. Cooke takes over, drives it across goal, and it's turned away by Roberts and picked up at the far side by Reed, who will be able to clear Concord's line. Dyer picks it back up though. City's still on the front foot. Forced back to Delaney. Now back to Wood on the halfway, and that was a good save by Roberts.
Good attempt by Cooke as well. It was aiming for that top right-hand corner of Roberts' net.
Delaney with the ball over the top. Cooke nods at the side for Toure, 25 yards out. Going to go for a strike. It's turned onto the post by Roberts and gratefully back into his arms. Terrific effort by Toure, and he was inches away from Dublin Bar City's lead.
And that was a good shot by Toure. Came back off the post and gratefully grabbed by Miles Roberts at the last moment.
As Peck will take the corner, goes short into Blackman. Back to the corner taker. Crosses in. It's half geared by Rains. Drops far as Reynolds, who completely misses his kick. Once again, he's got people making an option short. He uses Green. Back to Peck. Tries to take on Fletcher, then tumbles to the ground. And Wood can clear out for a throw-in.
Vigorous protest there, none less than Ryan Blackman. Arms outstretched to the referee. Appealing for something there. Certainly I didn't see a foul.
I think he knew he'd hit the ball too far and decided he's going to throw himself on the floor.
You can sometimes almost tell, can't you, from the player's very reaction. If it's very theatrical, you almost certainly know that it wasn't a foul.
It's more than that, it must be 35.
35.
Blackman is going to go for goal. It bounces just about in front of Ryan Clark, made it a little bit difficult, but safe handling from the City keeper. Goal in the big game at the top. Oxford City lead Dulwich Hamlet. Two sides flying high in the National League South this season. Oxford City have only actually lost one game. It's a league low. Just a few too many draws cost them, as Delaney on a marauding run in field. Plays it out to Fletcher on the right. Up towards the engineer, still with Fletcher. Strikes across goal. Saved by Roberts on the follow-up is Toure. It's an unbelievable block by Kensdale to deny his former side and to deny Mo Toure once again.
Well, it was a shot from Fletcher that Roberts parried away straight into the path of Toure. And Toure's shot straight at the keeper, unfortunately. The City had gone in 3-0 up at half-time. You wouldn't have been surprised.
60 seconds to go, plus stoppage time in this first half. Forward into Reynolds, who twists away from a couple, still driving forward, but eventually overruns it. Batten can get there, although he's then a little bit slack, and Ryan Clark does well to slide out and just about gather at the feet of Lamar Reynolds. Plays it forward into Reynolds, does well to skip away from a couple of players. Still going Reynolds inside, and then Batten sliding in, gets a foot on it, ricochets back off Reynolds, and behind for a goal kick, but he's come to life a little bit in this last couple of minutes, Lamar Reynolds. Jones is then a little bit loose. Bablola slides it through to Reynolds, up inside the area, looking to take on Wood, who does really well to hold him up, get a foot in, and then as Batten clears up towards the halfway line, the referee blows the half-time whistle, so at the interval it's Bath City 1, Concord Rangers 0. Jordan Dyer giving the hosts the lead, converting home after Miles Roberts had only parried Callum Wood's header to him from a corner kick. Now Blackman has it in the centre circle.
Yeah, Torre there was caught a little bit on the back foot when the ball didn't come to him.
Still with Blackman, tries to play it dangling behind. Free gets a foot in it, but Reid intercepts, going across the box, tries to slip it through. Batten does well to get a foot in. Reid, though, wins it back well from Freer. Now breaks to Reynolds on the edge of the area. Looks to drive between a couple of players and once again throws himself to the floor theatrically. And on this occasion, he's not going to get anything. It's just going to be a goal kick. Torre then wins another header, just about keeps it in play on the Bath City left against Kensdale. Inside, gets to the byline, drives it across off the shins of the Concord defender, out for a Bath City corner kick. There's still a posse of players in the box as Freer elects to go short to Torre. Back flicks it to Freer, driving across, pulls it back to Dyer. In fact, the offside flag is up against Freer. Dyer. You said you feel like Bath City need a second, Andrew. They've only kept 2 clean sheets this season, haven't kept one since the second game of the season. And Concord have only failed to score once, so you do feel like a second goal would make things much more comfortable.
I kind of feel I wanted my fingers in the ears at that statement.
Don't worry, I'll come up with some good news for you in a minute, but in the meanwhile, it's slipped into Reynolds on the edge of the area, tumbles down, and this time it is a penalty out over the outstretched leg of Batten. He's not very impressed with the decision, but the referee has pointed to the spot, and Concord Rangers have a way right back into this game.
You had a feeling that was coming because Reynolds and to a lesser extent Reid have been diving around left, right and centre every time they get in the penalty area, one of them going over.
Green against Clark. A few boos ring out around Twerton Park. Green steps up. Oh, he was going to step up. Now he does step up. Sends Clark the wrong way into the bottom corner. It's a well-taken penalty by Danny Green. Brings Concord Rangers back on level terms at Twerton Park 10 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, and you have to say that that's pretty much against the run of play in this match. And City will feel somewhat aggrieved from that. And, Reynolds, yeah, he battles well up front, but we've seen all this afternoon just goes over at the first possible tackle. And the referee, I think, to some extent bought that one.
Ball pulled by Delaney, going to drop to Torre on the edge of the area. Goes back to Dyer, about 25 yards out. Give to Torre, quickly closed down by a couple of blue shirts. Then goes in and gets a free kick as Green goes diving in.
Again, I would argue that was a little bit unjustified. I think Green got to that ball first.
Well, not only going to be a free kick, Danny Green is going to be the first man in the referee's notebook. One of 30 yards this for Elliot Freer. He's the man lining it up. He's going to go for goal and hits Mo Torre. Breaks back to Rains, who goes for a strike, but doesn't quite get hold of it, and it sails a couple of yards over Roberts' crossbar.
Yes, Mo Torre, unfortunately, was facing the other way when it hit him on the back.
Victor Freer on the left-hand side. Bath City looking to restore their advantage, having been pegged back in the second half by Concord. Torre lays it into Freer, gets the byline and drives it across goal and behind for a goal kick. Domi just about gets the head of Cooke. Fletcher is alerting onto it though. Forward to Cooke. He's got Torre, who he uses. Slightly holds up the attack, but now feeds it to Freer on the Bath City left, about 15 yards out, up against Reid. Gets to the byline, digs out across. Ensdale can half clear and Blackman helps it on its way. Delaney will pick up the loose ball though. Forward to Torre, 20 yards out. Got Blackman for company. Digs in across. Fletcher tries to chest it down and then he gets a free kick given against Domi as he's adjudged to have been fouled by Fletcher, which is an interesting decision because if it wasn't a free kick, it would have been a handball. And they're the only other goals in this second half, as well as, of course, the Concord Rangers equaliser here as Joe Rains pulls back Jake Peck in the middle of the pitch and will get a yellow card to mark his 100th Bath City appearance. Blackman with a ball forward. Delaney meets it. Rains then pulls it away, and it was an initial foul, and then he's gone down, grabbing his shin afterwards, as if Peck stamped on him. I must say I don't have a clear view.
No, I think Peck trod on him. Whether intentionally or not, I don't know. But after the foul, certainly, and I think Peck's going to get a yellow card here.
Well, if he did, it's fortunate it's only yellow. But it is going to be a yellow card and nothing more for the Concord Rangers midfielder. And the two of them still having words. Breaks back the way of Reed. Tries to exchange passes with Green, which he's done. We'll get to the byline. Puts in a cross. Babalola trying to turn it goalwards, can only turn it behind for a goal kick. 16 minutes to go at Twerton Park. Bath City 1, Concord Rangers 1. As Delaney forward for Freer. Will keep it in. Crosses first time, comes back, finds Cooke on the turn, and it's narrowly over the crossbar. Superb effort by Cody Cooke. He's about half a yard away from putting Bath City back in front.
Great turn. You always feel when Freer gets on the ball down this left-hand side, takes the ball to the byline, there's always the possibility of something being on.
Back to Rains, goes infield to Torre, 30 yards out central, going to go for goal, and that one's not troubling Roberts.
No, didn't really get enough power on the shot.
Roberts goes long, looking for Popo. Picks him out on the halfway line. Man in his third spell at Concord Rangers, Tosin Popo. Ball now smuggled through to Reynolds. Bit of space to run into. Plays it down the left for Babalola. He will keep it in play. He's got Wood out there with him. Looks to take him on, does well, get to the bar and gets past him. Still Babalola, it's sent to Clark, and it's gone narrowly wide of the post. It's out for a corner kick. Ryan Clark did really well to come out and smother at the feet of the striker. Peck drills it in low, it's poor, it's met by Cooke at the front post. It's going to come out to Blackman, though, strikes. It's blocked by the feet of Jones. Dyer midway inside his own half. Manu opened the score in 10 minutes in. City been pegged back since then. It's now to Fletcher. It's a really heavy touch, though. Blackman's clearance then goes against him, and then he decides to bring Fletcher down as he was trying to get on a loose ball that I think Dummy would have got to first anyway. And shakes him off, but Ryan Blackman will get a yellow card and nothing more. He'll swing it in with his left foot into the central goal. Roberts just about gets something on it. It's acrobatic effort by Rains that's gone well wide, and he probably should have left it for Fletcher, who was coming in. Jake Peck, who's going to make way, probably before he gets sent off, and Ode Martin is going to come on in his place. A 24-year-old Spaniard. Clark goes long, out of hands. It's bounced away from a few players. Cooke does well to get in there. Cooke, he's round the keepers. Cooke into the top corner. Brilliantly taken by Cody Cooke. Bath City's top scorer puts them back in front. After 81 minutes at Twerton Park, it's Bath City 2, Concord Rangers 1, and the visitors simply undone from a long ball by Ryan Clark.
And to say that Twerton Park erupts is something of an understatement. Cries of joy mingled as much with cries of relief. It looked for a moment there as if the ball had just run beyond Cooke, but experienced striker that he is, he made absolutely no mistake putting it in the back of the net. And City, with 10 minutes to go plus stoppage time, are very much in the ascendancy.
He did so well, didn't he, Cooke? Did well in the aerial battle originally, then got on the ball, showed his composure, knocked it around Roberts, and then with a defender back on the line, the finish was much harder than it looked. Lashed it into the top corner. Bath City's top scorer does it again, his 11th of the season. Delaney does well to meet it. Dyer flicks it a bit further. Cooke then with one over the top. This one's a bit more directed. It will find Fletcher. He's got Torre up with him, looking to take on Payne. Cuts into the area, still with Fletcher, and he scuffs his shot straight at Roberts. Martin out to Reed on the right-hand side, midway inside the Bath City half. Still coming forward, then plays it into the area, into Babalola. Tries to twist away from his man. Digs it across goal. Coming in at the far side was a friendly Kessie, and it was just a fraction behind him. Couldn't get anything on it. They need to get it forward quickly, the visitors.
We're already over the 3 minutes of stoppage time, and there is the final whistle, and joy is released around Twerton Park.
Bath City victorious over Concord Rangers by 2-1. Jordan Dyer put them in front 10 minutes into the game. Danny Green levelled things up from the penalty spot, but 10 minutes from the end, Cody Cooke scored the winner, his 11th of the season. A much needed 3 points for Bath City. And Andrew, on the balance of play, I think it's fair to say a deserved 3 points for Bath City.
Very much so, very much so. The best team in the first half. Concord had a couple of 10-minute spells. Then in the second period, the game kind of went to sleep for a period. Concord got that equaliser, but from then on, City, after a few minutes, really girded up their loins, pressed forward, and a game wrapped off by an absolutely great goal by Cooke. And you feel with 10 minutes to go, that's just the kind of excitement, drive and enthusiasm you need when you have a crowd of 1,200 in here this afternoon. And you fancy many of those will have enjoyed this afternoon so much, they may be back next Saturday when the FA Trophy comes to town with Dartford.
Yeah, we talked about, I can't remember if it was earlier in the match or pre-match, about the tough run of fixtures City have got coming up. I mean, I know it's an FA Trophy, not a league game, but Dartford are top of the league. Then they've got trips to Havant and Ebbsfleet. Does that make this result in this performance all the more important?
I think it's probably too early to say that. I think, and I know this is something that Jerry Gill will talk about this afternoon. He won't talk about the result because, of course, he's too pleased about that. But he'll talk a lot about performance. And when you look at the performance this afternoon, I think the performance was good. We saw shades of it with Hampton and Richmond, and as we argued right at the start of this game, they were pretty unfortunate to come away on the wrong end of that 3-1 scoreline, having twice hit the woodwork and conceded a goal through a Ryan Clark mistake. They carried this forward into this afternoon, though, with much more enthusiasm, much more commitment, and also more polish about the way they were playing. I'd pick out for me again this afternoon. I thought Elliot Freer had a cracking game down the left-hand side. Always was the get-out man for the ball being played forward, could hold it up, could play it long, could come to the byline and put the ball into the box. And he's really delivering some of the promise that I think we hoped for him at the start of the season, but that we didn't see over those first few games. And there was drive, there was enthusiasm, and the team getting a great reception now as they leave the pitch.
So thank you very much for tuning in this afternoon. We're finished. Bath City 2, Concord Rangers 1. It's been a tough season at times for City, but it was fun against the Beach Boys this afternoon. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next Saturday.